You're listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon Podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon, John Santucci, the Tooch, and the man with the plan, Adam Sham. We're bringing you the fantasy football knowledge that you need every single week.
Derrick Henry still going. He might go. 99 yards for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
Flush down again, all the way down. Turning the corner, fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes turns what might have been a 15-yard sack into a 27-yard touchdown.
Saquon Barkley across midfield, down the sideline, stayed in bounds, and Barkley takes it all the way. 68 yards for his first NFL touchdown. McCaffrey right up the middle, and he is gone for the touchdown. 58 yards. Pass is to Thomas. He's gone. Touchdown Saints.
Okay, it's time for the easiest part of any coach's job, the cut. Now, while I wasn't able to cut everyone I wanted to, I have cut a lot of you. Steven, I like your hustle. That's why it was so hard to cut you. Congratulations, the rest of you made the team. Except you, and you.
God bless fantasy football. There are many things a man can do with his time. And this, better than those things.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday, and welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Goon. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon. I'm joined, as always, by my fantasy football brother and radio father, John Santucci, the Tooch.
Hey,
Tooch,
buddy.
what's going on, buddy?
Doing well. Ready to get down to a little fantasy football. We had the good news in Chicago with the head coach being fired, so celebratory. What was that, Friday he got fired? Friday, right? Black Friday?
Yeah, ding dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah, it was about time. Well-deserved locker room explosion, too, from the players, supposedly, But, yeah, it's looking up now in Chicago.
Yeah, definitely one of the all-time worst ways to lose a game, for sure. Watching that live was just, wow.
Just brutal. The last, that 6-game losing streak with the Fail Mary in Washington.
Yeah, to think that we were in playoff position before that, and now look at us. The whole division's good except for us.
And I think the players are pissed off that their season was ruined. A chance to go to the playoffs, make a little noise, just sabotaged by their coaches.
That's right. Well, now we get to see what happens in the offseason, but until then, buckle up.
I got 58 people watching already.
I know, a handful of folks tuning in this morning. Reminder to everybody, we're answering questions for the next hour, and then we're going to get out of here. But big day for fantasy. A lot of people trying to make that playoff push, Tooch. Or you're trying to not only make that push, but clinch your playoff spot. I know a couple of leagues I've already clinched mine. But there's some interesting matchups, and there's some trap games today, Tooch. And one thing we wanted to lead off with talking about is the game in Buffalo tonight.
I like the under in this game.
I like the under, and
at 44.5, it seems high for a game in a blizzard.
And I like the running backs in that game too.
Yeah, I do like the James Cook anytime touchdown in this one.
Cook for sure.
Yep.
And they're going to get buried out there.
I think it's a great game to bet all unders, like under receiving, under passing,
Oh, for sure.
Under the total.
I mean, if you have any Niners or Bills on your squad, I temper your expectations greatly. There's a bunch of leagues I had Amari Cooper as a flex today, and I've removed him in every single league as my flex because I just can't see them throwing the ball like crazy. I mean, maybe they will.
I have Juwan Jennings and I believe he's still in my starting lineup for tonight. My other receivers are Cooper Kupp, Nick Westbrook-Ikine, who's had a touchdown 5 of his last 6 games.
And you have Kupp starting, I'm assuming, right?
I've got Kupp starting, of course. I think he has a big day versus the Saints. And I also have David Moore of the Panthers starting against that weak Buccaneers secondary. He had 10 targets last week, 9 catches. I'm tempted to put Westbrook-Ikine in there over Jennings.
It's tough. I think you got to monitor the weather. What time is Westbrook play today? Is that a day game? A 1 o'clock?
Yeah, right off the bat. Yep.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think they're going to be passing that much in Buffalo.
Like if it's actively snowing, then it's going to be a running game. If it's either way, the wind's going to be blowing, right?
Yeah, I wonder. Use the NFL weather app.
Not the NFL weather app, but I look at
weather app. What's the wind? There is an NFL weather app. What is it? X? Yeah, Twitter account. Let me see if I can find that. I just was like, because it is the night game, correct?
Yes.
This is Sunday night tonight.
Yes.
And I'm gonna put.
Here, I just pulled up the hourly. Let's see here for Buffalo.
Like I'm curious to see what the wind.
Here we go. Tonight, which is I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
There's a 24% chance of precipitation with winds at 12 miles per hour.
At 12 miles per hour, that seems a little high, not terrible. Snow showers expected, it says, all the way expected right around kickoff. Lake effect warning, so snow could show up if the temp and winds are right. Some forecasts call for winds blowing 18 miles per hour, gusts up to 29 miles per hour. Yeah, I'm not playing anybody in this game unless it's a running back.
Yeah, I don't want to touch those wide receivers. I know it's.
And I love Juwan Jennings too, but I'm just going to take the safer. What's the weather like in Washington D.C.?
One moment.
You have. Let me see if it's a little.
I got it right here. Weather hourly here. What are they? A day game, right?
Yeah.
It's looking about 42 degrees, 44 degrees with 0% chance of rain with only 8 mile an hour winds. So much better weather in DC.
All right.
For those of you tuning in late, we're talking about the weather in Buffalo tonight for the Sunday Night Football game between the Bills and the Niners, with a heavy snowstorm expected during the game, with winds somewhere between right around 20 miles an hour, wind gusts up to 24. We are tempering expectations and saying just to bench wide receivers in this game, and even tight ends. I would temper the expectations there as well. George Kittle, you're probably not starting the Buffalo tight ends anyway, but maybe Kincaid, who's still banged up, I think, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, now that we've gotten through that, I mean, obviously we don't have the official inactives, but we can talk through what has been announced thus far.
Yeah.
Of course, leading things off, we got the Chargers-Falcons this morning, 1 o'clock Eastern. J.K. Dobbins inactive for that game, so you'll hear us talk about Gus Edwards here in a little bit as a great option. So without J.K. Dobbins, look for him to take a lead role.
He's plus 110 anytime touchdown.
I love that.
Kind of like plus money on that, just,
Absolutely. I like that too.
Throw a half unit, 1 unit.
Some of the other morning games, not a lot of crazy news coming out of anywhere, but I will say for the Washington the Commanders-Titans game, Austin Eckler is inactive for Washington. I know they're going to try to let Brian Robinson give it a go. I think he's
there's
going to
going to
be
be
banged
points
up.
in this game.
I do too.
I like the over in this game.
I like the over, and I like Jeremy McNichols as a name as the running back. He took over a lot of the workload after Robinson and Eckler were hurt.
Right. And
Look for McNichols to be heavily involved.
Eckler's inactive?
Yes, he's officially inactive.
That guy just can't stay healthy this past couple of years. Robinson is a go or no? Questionable?
I believe he's questionable, but they look like they're going to give it a go with him. But I can't imagine he's going to do too much.
Yeah. Buka. My buddy.
Let's see here. We the Colts at Patriots, Josh Downs and Ashton Doolin all inactive as wide receiver for the Colts, which is part of the reason that Tooch has a certain Colts receiver on his list. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Official inactives, again, we're just looking at what's been announced. Obviously, the inactives list won't come out until a little bit later. Going down, Philadelphia.
Michael Pittman questionable and
questionable, but not ruled out yet.
Alec Pierce out.
Not officially, according to the inactive list I'm looking at right now. It's Josh Downs and Ashton Doolin are the only official confirmed inactives.
Okay, yeah, that's
but it's early. There could be inactives that may drop.
Those two guys are banged up. I think the Pittman and the other guy, Alec Pierce.
Yep. And to confirm what we were talking about a little while ago about the Buffalo Niners game tonight, Dalton Kincaid has been ruled out for that game. So if you did want to start a tight end, it would be Dawson Knox. But again, monitor that weather. I can't imagine.
I have another guy too at tight end too. I forget his name. But so here's the deal. I had like a 5-leg parlay and I had hit the first 4 legs, and it was the Bills Chiefs game. And I needed 3 catches, over 2.5 from Dawson Knox in that game. And I'm like, all right, we're starting off great. It's like, 2 catches in the first half. I'm like, all right, I'll use one more second half. And I'm
nothing.
$5 bets, like $350, throwing some pizza money at it. And the second half, it starts out. There's another guy in it, tight end. I don't even remember his name. He catches a couple balls. I'm like, where the hell's Dawson Knox? Then finally he finished with like 4 catches. So end up getting it, celebrating, taking the girls out to eat.
Hell yeah. Love to hear that.
Love it.
Getting into the Rams game this afternoon, Rams Saints. The only official inactive for that game is Tyler Higbee for the Rams, who's working his way off of IR. That could certainly be a name for people if you want to stash somebody and put them on the IR.
Colby Parkinson has been pretty good, though, right?
Yeah, he has.
Been decent. There's another guy, too, right?
There's always another guy.
There's a third tight end who was getting a little play. Let's see if I could find him. Anyways,
moving into the Bucs Panthers.
I love the Rams versus that weak Saints
New Orleans secondary.
Yep.
Yeah. Bucs Panthers. Jalen Coker inactive at wide receiver for the Panthers. I know a lot of people have been riding, his progression. He's going to be a good receiver, but he's not playing today.
So I got Anthony gave me a stat. Rams in November and December are like 11-1 against the spread the last couple of years under Sean McVay.
Well, they certainly have the matchup to do it today.
-2.5 versus Saints. I'm on that.
I'm not quite sure how it's that close, to be honest with you, but
I think the Saints played that. They had a good game their last game. Let me see. Hang on a second here. You're on it too. The tight end on the Rams, the other guy is Davis Allen.
Okay. Not related to Josh.
No. So
who got engaged in the bye week, by the way.
Yeah. Got himself a Haley Steinfeld, huh?
Yeah. Locked it down, man.
So the last game the Saints played, do you remember what it was? They're at home.
Right.
Versus the Browns. It was a blowout 35-14 win over the Browns.
Well, I would say this is the Rams are a different team. They're still somehow in the playoff hunt. I wouldn't say they're quite eliminated yet, but
the Browns, man, They are trash on the road, brother.
I'm aware.
I love the Rams, the Broncos on Monday night versus the Browns.
Yeah, me too.
Give me the Broncos in that one.
In that game, Cedric Tillman, who a lot of people have been riding, is inactive officially at wide receiver. So Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, stock rising for them as well. I wanted to point out for the Eagles-Ravens game today, no Darius Slay today for the Eagles, so that's obviously going to be.
I love the Ravens in this game. I'll give you another little stat. When a team like the Eagles are on a win streak, like they are, they've won 5 in a row. When they go on the road and they play as a dog of 3 points or less, they're like 0-5 against the spread of the last whatever. They haven't covered the spread. It's going to be a great. It's going to be a great game. This is the best, obviously the best game of the day.
Yeah, and as long as my guy Saquon goes nuts, I really don't care.
Yeah, it's that Baltimore Ravens defense is tough against the run, though. You can throw on them. Their cornerbacks are not good.
That's right.
But, I mean, it is Saquon. He can do magical things out there.
I mean, you can't bench him really. It's impossible.
No.
With the volume he gets, he's if there was a redraft today, odds are he'd be the number 1 fantasy pick.
Yep. Him or Derrick Henry, I guess.
Yeah. And they're both playing each other today. So
maybe Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, they can make that argument, sure.
All right, we got
Travis. What's up, buddy?
Travis.
Hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
In Illinois. Nice.
Gobble gobble, my friend.
Thanksgiving, man. We did our Thanksgiving yesterday. I gotta tell you, I nailed the turkey yesterday. Perfect 165 degrees.
Just like those Butterball employees, you nailed the turkey.
I'm telling you, it was perfect. It was juicy. So
it's a really
juicy.
bad joke for anyone that's been watching the news.
Let it rest. Was it live turkeys or turkey carcasses?
I'd rather care not to know, Tooch.
All right.
But I'm glad it turned out good, man. I love it. I love a perfect moist turkey.
Oh, dude, so good. Yeah. Perfect. It was perfect, Travis. Perfect temperature. They had the old turkey injector. I'm injecting butter and marinade inside of it.
Oh, there you go.
Excellent.
Love it, man. Yeah, love some turkey. Before we get into our quarterback starts of the day, we'll get into those in just a second. I had a quarterback question for you, Tooch, because I've been dabbling back and forth. I'm in a guillotine league that you have since been chopped in.
Yeah,
I'm in the final 6.
Nice.
I've been going back and forth all week. Baker Mayfield, who has a great matchup against Carolina today, or Joe Burrow against Pittsburgh, they're gonna be behind and he's gonna have to throw. I know, but hear me out. I worry that the Bucs are gonna get up so big on Carolina that they're gonna have to run for the whole second half. I'm just worried.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. I have Baker in there right now. I feel like I gotta ride him, but
the Panthers played the Chiefs really tough last week.
They did.
They almost won. If the Panthers are able to score on the Chiefs defense, they should be able to score on the Bucs defense. However, I understand you're saying it's a classic letdown spot for the Panthers after that close loss. Walk-off field goal for the Chiefs.
I think the matchup's too good for me to bench Baker for Burrow going against one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah. And the Steelers are coming off a loss. They're angry. They're traveling across state lines there to get to the Ohio side and regional rivalry. I don't know. Burrow obviously leads the league in passing touchdowns.
Everything.
Yeah. That pass rush from the
Steelers is no joke.
No joke.
Yeah,
and
I know. That's why
not only that, but the Bengals offensive line is garbage.
Yeah. I'm going to ride out Baker.
I would go Baker. I mean, Baker's the safe play. I mean,
I should be good. I should be good for like 24 points at least from Baker. That's what I need. So Burrow could easily throw 3 picks and have a terrible day. So I'm going to go with Baker.
Oh, you got
Our buddy.
sorry, I
Oh,
threw
we
that up for you.
both pulled it up at the same
Yeah.
time. Travis wants to know, due to my error of not moving Tolbert from my flex, I need to start one. Jamar Chase or Scary Terry?
You can't bench Chase.
You can't bench Jamar Chase. It's impossible.
Yeah.
He leads the league in everything. He could be a number one pick too if we redrafted.
Exactly. I think you still go Chase because like you said, this is the Burrow. If you're not starting Burrow, you might as well start Chase and get a piece
They
of
could
that.
be down. They could be down and have to throw.
There could be some third and longs. Likely there will be some third and longs after Burrow gets sacked. I do think the Scary Terry is going to have a lot of that points in that game. So as Terry's had a massive game last week. It's really tough. I mean, the Titans defense, they got L'Jarius Sneed to probably be shadowing Terry. That's
Yeah, that's nothing to
dude's good,
stick
man.
at.
I think you stick with Chase, but it's probably flip a coin. What do you think?
I don't think you can bench Chase.
I don't think so either.
He's been a league winner to this point. So
yeah, let me get to the numbers here and just real quick crunch it.
Yeah, and then we'll get to our quarterback starts.
So the Steelers are allowing 28 points per game to the wide receiver. The Titans are allowing 27. Actually, the Titans are third best against the wide receiver. The Steelers are sixth best. So I guess you can't. We're going with the the slight edge, and then you can't bench Chase. I think you stick with Chase.
Yeah, he's been too good. So I agree, Tooch.
Yep.
Let's get into our quarterback starts of the day, and Tooch and I both have the same guy who we just talked about moments ago. Tooch, take it away.
Baker Mayfield. Yep. And then I got Anthony Richardson. I figure it's you might as well take a shot versus that trashy Patriots defense. I mean, I know the Bears made the Patriots defense look like world beaters.
Yes, they did.
It's really not a good defense. I think you take Anthony Richardson. I think you might see a rushing touchdown out of Richardson. Then Matthew Stafford versus that injured Saints. And I said that November, December, the Rams are fucking money. Now you got Cooper and Nakua both healthy, so you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, both with 10 targets a game. It's
yeah,
awesome, man. Love that. We're gonna after my quarterbacks, we'll go to our question here that just came through. But of course, I love Baker as well against Carolina. Great matchup. Should get ahead early, but I expect him to throw for over 300 with at least 3 touchdowns. They're probably going to run it too, but sign me up. Hopefully Carolina can stick with them. Bo Nix, Tooch and I were just talking about him a little while ago. He's for me, he's been the offensive rookie of the year.
Great this year.
He's been fantastic. Yeah. Cleveland, as Tooch mentioned, horrendous on the road. Their secondary overrated, in my opinion.
They gave up 35 points to the Saints on the road.
Yeah, I'm starting Bo Nix in a
handful. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I mean, Bo Nix looking to be a silent waiver wire stud for some people this year.
I tried to pick him up this week or a week ago. I figured the boom was coming soon.
Yeah,
I couldn't get him. Somebody else with a better.
I think it might have been me.
Yeah, it might have been. Yep, one of those.
In one of our leagues. And then Justin Herbert against Atlanta. Their secondary has been horrendous. Herbert's been looking much better as of late. For those of you who finally decided last week to start Quentin Johnston, you were rewarded with a goose egg. But now this is the week that he finally makes it pay off for you. I mean it. You got to trust him this week. I think Herbert goes bananas against Atlanta this week. So those are my quarterback starts. And we got a couple questions here. Let's take our from no relation to Darnell Mooney, perhaps.
Yeah.
But start 3, Jennings, Tank Dell, Debo, Pittman, Gus Edwards, or Cade Otton. Well, we talked about the weather in San Francisco already. In Buffalo tonight. It's supposed to be a big snowstorm, 24-mile-an-hour winds with snow falling. We're going to wipe off Jennings off this list because of that.
Agree.
Same thing with Debo. I'm wiping Debo off this list. So that leaves Tank, Pittman, Gus, or Otton to start 3. Tank's got a great matchup. I'm starting Tank today.
Me too.
I think big bounce back for the Houston Texans as well. Gus Edwards is going to be a shoe-in for a touchdown for sure.
Yep.
And he's starting for that team, who's a run-first team. So give me Gus Edwards.
Yep.
And Cade Otton against Carolina. Are you kidding me?
I love Cade Otton today, man. If you don't have him in your tight end spot, something's wrong.
So I think Tooch and I are probably aligned on that. Tank, Gus, Cade.
Yep, absolutely.
Michael Pittman has been a huge letdown.
Tank, Gus the Bus, and Cade Otton. Those three I would pick.
Travis said I was going to go with Chase, but it could go either way. Yeah, it could.
That's what I said. Yeah, it's probably a flip of the coin, but I can't bench Jamar Chase. He's in my lineup every week unless he's on a bye.
You can't bench him. Impossible. Surf wants to know, 16-team league with benches, deep benches. Devontae Smith, Nick
Westbrook, Akine.
Oh, got it. Amari Cooper, Vidal, Coleman. Well, immediately, there's two players in that game tonight in Buffalo, Cooper and Coleman. I'm taking them off the list. I just cannot envision it being a high-scoring game or a throw-first game.
The weather's too unpredictable for me. Plus, it's a late game, so you're going to have a hard time, if you're trying, you're going to have a hard time swapping anybody. What are you going to do Monday night? Hopefully you have a guy Monday night. If you're not starting Coleman or Cooper or one of those guys, or are in your lineup still. So yeah. I'm going Devontae Smith, right, for 100% against that. Ravens secondary is awful. He's 100%, and then for
Westbrook,
me,
I would do.
I got to go Westbrook because he's had touchdown in 5 of the last.
Got a great matchup too.
Yeah, it's got a great matchup. The Commanders' defense is, I don't know how to read the Commanders' defense. I mean, they have a defensive head coach who's
they're really good, and then they're bad, and then they're bad, and then they're good.
Terrible. Yep. So for me, it's Devontae Smith and Nick Westbrook, Akine. Those two.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not at this stage of the season. You cannot trust the weather in Buffalo. If you've seen the videos, they have people shoveling out the stadium. It's going to be a snow game to the max. It's going to be great TV, but not great fantasy.
For me, this game is like 10-7, 16-13 at best.
Yeah.
For me.
14-12.
14-12. Yeah, 13-12. I don't even know if they'll be able to kick field goals. It's like, if it's 29-mile-an-hour swirling winds.
To Surf's point, he is correct. Devontae might not play.
Oh, okay.
And plays at 4:30, so that is a good point.
Yeah.
Let me go back to your original question.
I didn't know he was questionable.
Well, if Smith doesn't play, then I'm not starting Vidal over a guy like Cooper.
Yeah, I would start Cooper.
So I would say then if Smith is out, then start Cooper.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So you wait until, because Cooper's in the deep. He's in the 7:00 game.
Yeah.
So if at 3:00 there's no Devontae Smith, then you swap in Amari Cooper.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yep. All right. What is the next question? Chase Brown or James Conner? I'm going Chase Brown.
Yeah, Chase Brown. It's close.
I mean, it's tough because they're both tough against the run, both the Steelers and the Vikings. This is tough here. So
James Conner, Chase Brown's been catching a lot of passes lately. So is James Conner. To me, they're the same guy. They're the same guy.
Yeah, the Steelers give up 21 points a game to the running back, and the Vikings about 16, 17. So for me, it's Chase Brown.
Yeah, Chase Brown's been an all-around involved. I mean, so is
Conner.
James Conner.
I like Conner, though. He's been banged up, though, recently.
He has. I'm riding him in a couple
I love Conner. If they get down close to the goal line, he's getting the ball. But same with Chase Brown. If they get down close to they're giving it to Brown. But Brown is more explosive. If you're putting them side by side and you're looking like which guy's going to hit a home run, long run, explosive play, it's Chase Brown. So for me, I agree. I go Chase Brown. Yep.
Awesome, man. Well, let's get to our running back starts. I'll lead us off here. I got Chuba Hubbard today against Tampa. I love Chuba.
I like it.
He's been great all year long. I know he's been.
Oh, you got Conner. That was the last question.
I do like Connor, but
Did you like Connor over Chase Brown?
I think they're the same guy. So
Okay, that's right. Yeah, you said that. Yep.
I don't think it's people. I put him on here because people are scared to start him.
Okay.
Chuba against Tampa. Chuba's been a world beater all year long. I know he's got Jonathan Brooks or whatever who's back, but even with him back last week, I'm
hating myself for not drafting him or grabbing him somehow.
I traded for him in the Goon League. I traded George Pickens for him. What do you think of that?
I love it, man.
I mean, I'm loaded at wide receiver in that league, so I needed a running back.
Yep.
And I got Pacheco coming back off of IR. I didn't start him as rightly so.
The Jonathan Brooks hasn't done anything.
No, and even when he came back last week, he didn't. I think Chuba Hubbard still had like 80% of the carries. So
yeah.
Gus Edwards against Atlanta, we already talked about how there's no J.K. Dobbins. Gus getting the start. Atlanta's horrible against the run. And James Conner, Minnesota's defense has been good, but he's going to get those goal line carries. Arizona somehow being way better than expected. So I like James Conner today. I wanted to pick someone outside of the usual here. So what about you, Tooch?
I got Bucky Irving on the other side of that one. And then love Stevenson versus the Colts. And then the last guy, man, I've had him on my sit list a couple times this year. He's been incredible this year. Against the Commanders defense, man, I'm rolling with Tony Pollard today, man. I think he has a huge day. Bucky Irving versus the Panthers D. Come on. These are both I'm thinking about doing a 100-yard parlay with these two guys, 100-yard rushing, Bucky Irving and
between
Tony
who?
Pollard.
I like that.
Irving and Pollard and just, loading it up. 100 yards. Boom.
The only thing is if Irving goes for 100, my guy Baker might not throw for 300, but we'll see.
True. Yep.
But it could happen easily.
I think that game has like 60 points in it today.
For sure.
Panthers Bucks.
King Buka mentioned that he has McBride and Connor. Sometimes he misses points by playing them together. McBride has been used more, and I think this is a McBride game today too.
Oh yeah, they have a huge game last week, didn't he? It's like 100 yards and 13 catches or something. I remember what it was. I have him, but I don't remember. I know he scored a shit ton of points though.
I got one league I had to choose between McBride and Hawkinson, and I got to go with McBride. He's just been a target machine.
Yep. And then the Vikings are a pass funnel since they can't. It's hard to run on them. Mm-hmm. Like teams just pass on them.
Yeah. And Jesus Aguirre, Dan's long lost brother, wants to know, what's up, fellas? I need to start two. Leggett, Brian Thomas, Metcalf, JSN. Well, definitely I'm starting JSN. He's been the hot hand. He's been their number one wide receiver. I think he's unbenchable.
I think Sauce Gardner is going to be on DK.
Yeah, and JSN.
And they've had some classic battles too, I think.
And DK is banged up still too. So I'm picking JSN.
One game DK played against Sauce, he had like 0 catches.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
I think Leggett, I do like Leggett. Let's see.
But Brian Thomas gets back Trevor Lawrence today.
Yeah.
So I think you got to take Brian Thomas and JSN.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, Metcalf, it is possible that JSN gets paired up with Sauce, but I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to put him on Metcalf.
Yeah, I mean, JSN gets a lot of play in the slot. So,
and JSN's gotten so much. He's been a target machine. He's been a fantasy god the last month and a half. So
he's made us forget Tyler Lockett.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
JSN's been my guillotine survival ticket lately.
Yeah.
McBride won me my week. Yeah, for sure.
It was awesome last week. I love him this week, man. I think he has a big game today.
And what a perfect transition. Let's get into our tight end starts, Tooch. What do you got for us?
Well, I mean, since Drake May took over the starting job, I mean, Hunter Henry has been a great play, and against the Colts, they play a lot of man defense. So I like Hunter Henry versus the Colts. They give up about 14 points a game to the tight end. And then Pat Freiermuth, the Bengals are terrible against the tight end.
Oh, yeah.
they're trash. I love Freiermuth today. I think he's a good play. And then Dallas Goedert versus the Ravens. The Ravens are terrible against the tight end as well. They're
I'm in a couple of leagues that Goddard got dropped, so it's a good week. If some reason he got dropped,
why?
I know. I don't know why.
I mean, even as a backup.
Well, I don't know which one of our leagues. I think it might have been Goon League. Somebody dropped Njoku. Was it you?
I did, yeah. I don't need him. I have McBride.
That's true. I'm so desperate for tight end help, and I'm like, but I'd already started Kraft on Thanksgiving.
My other one was Jonnu Smith.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
I had 3 tight ends. I had to drop one.
Trade deadline week. I thought you were going to trade him. I was like, but I got him for free. I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, Jameis Winston. He hasn't been throwing to Njoku that much. Just that one first game, man.
Yeah. Well, Tillman's out now. We'll see.
Yeah. So I have McBride and Jonnu Smith. So I mean,
Jonnu Smith is better than Tyreek Hill these days. So
yeah. So I didn't put Trey McBride on this list because to me he's an auto start.
Yeah, for sure. You can't. If you have him, you're not benching him.
Yep.
I like Taysom Hill today against the Rams.
Too.
He's been heavily involved in that offense. You saw what he did a couple weeks ago and nobody had him.
Just crazy. Rams aren't that good versus the tight end, so it's a great play.
For sure. Cade Otton, we talked about him earlier against Carolina. I think he could finish his tight end number 1.
The absolute worst team against the tight end.
It's got to be Carolina. It's probably not even close.
Not even close.
So
they're like a full 2 points worse than the next team, the Chiefs.
Yeah, as a Baker owner today, that makes me excited. So love that. Love Cade Otton. And then I like Zach Ertz today against Tennessee. I know Tennessee's better against the tight end, but they're going to have to throw the ball. Zach Ertz just finds a way to score in the end zone. I mean, he could have 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. I mean, this is a guy
in this game too. So
yeah, and Ertz, is the safety blanket. He's a big throw. He's a big target. Sure, he's not like the tight end he once was, but I don't know if you saw that catch 2 or 3 weeks ago where he dragged his toes on the back of the goal line. That was an acrobatic, incredible catch. So
good ball. I wanted the Bears to pick him up when he was a free agent, or trade for him, whatever it was. The Eagles. He went to the Cardinals after the Eagles.
I think he's on a 1-year deal with them too. So maybe he can come to the Bears.
I tell you,
better than a Mercedes Lewis.
Seeing Caleb Williams and Cole Kmet at the Notre Dame USC game together gives me some good vibes for the future with those two. Let's get the tight end involved a little bit more, which is weird because Shane Waldron came from the Seahawks where they used like multiple tight ends. I mean, they made Will Dissly into a star. The most unathletic tight end out there, and he's having a good year with the Chargers. That's our guy, Will Dissly. Joe.
He's the man. I have him in a couple leagues. Although I dropped him for Njoku in our league, but
yeah, I have him in another one too.
Let's get to our wide receiver starts, buddy.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
Well, I got to go Lad McConkey. I mean, he's just been great, and the Falcons are their cornerbacks might be the 2 worst in the NFL, but
yeah,
they're bad against the wide receiver, giving up about 37, 38 points. Pickens versus the Bengals, I think there'll be some points in this game. I just think he's got a good matchup versus the Bengals defense. And you know what? If the Bengals and Steelers have to keep up with each other, Pickens and Chase, I think are going to get the benefit there. And then I like Tank Dell's matchup versus the Jaguars. These are just guys that people are thinking about maybe not starting. Obviously like AJ Brown is the top guy today. If you don't have AJ Brown in your lineup against the Ravens today, you're doing something wrong because the Ravens defensive backs,
they can't stop anybody.
AJ Brown gets a ton of separation and the Ravens give up a ton of separation. So Hurts better find AJ. His receiving prop is like 90 yards over under for a reason. So
love that, man.
Yeah, and I love Nico Collins today, Mike Evans. You're getting all these guys into the lineup. You
have to. Yeah. I love Cortland Sutton against Cleveland this week. We talked about how trash their secondary is, especially when they go on the road. And Cortland Sutton's been a hot hand. I think that continues. So
end of the year, him and Cortland Sutton and guys like Michael Pittman. Second half, George Pickens. These are all like second half guys.
Yeah.
Second half of the season. Like the first half of the season, you're like, God damn it, do I drop
He's
these
terrible.
guys?
Yeah, and most of the time
Same
you
with
do.
JSN, and then second half of the season, they're world beaters.
Well, that's how I got JSN in half my leagues. Is somebody dropped him and I picked him up the next week.
Yep.
Like I said, JSN, my next start, Jackson Smith and Jigba against the Jets. Sauce is likely going to be on DK. JSN has been a target machine. He's the hot hand. He's been incredible. You cannot bench him right now. He's a league winner. Potential this week, 30-point week. I'm not even joking when I say that. George Pickens, Tooch had him as well. Love him against the Bengals. Terrible secondary.
Yep.
Russ is going to air it out. I traded him away for Chuba this week in one of my leagues. So ironically, the guy I'm playing, I traded him for. So I get Chuba and he gets Pickens. So we'll see who makes the better of the deal this week. Although he does have Breece Hall, who's now in a flex, who's questionable for this game. So if
I made a trade with Papa Bear Adam Sham, and I think it was like I got Dobbins and Jennings, and he got like Breece Hall, and I gave him another guy, I forget, but Pittman, and like Breece Hall and Pittman both got injured. J.K. Dobbins went on injured reserves. Like all the guys, it's like neither of us really got anything out of the trade because
which league is that in?
In the Barroom League, I think.
Okay. Well, you keep doing me a solid. You beat Adam in the Goon League for me last week, which I needed badly, and appreciate that very much. I'm sure he's very appreciative as well. We got a question here from TSB World. Need to start a wide receiver, 1 PPR, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Sutton. Keep up the great work.
This is a tough one because I think Marvin Harrison Jr. Well, I mean, for me, I'm going Sutton.
Yeah,
I know you have to wait till Monday, but Marvin Harrison Jr.'s got a good matchup against the Vikings. They do allow a lot of passes, but I mean, he's also playing alongside Trey McBride.
Very inconsistent. McBride has been seeing a lot of the target share.
Exactly. So that's why I go with Sutton, who's been he's got a little connection with Bo Nix going here.
Yeah, he definitely has that going, and Bo Nix makes me jealous of what an offense could be for sure. Well, Sean Payton getting things done. King Luka, Pickens or Addison? That is tough, but I have a hard time benching Pickens today.
Yeah, me too. I think I go Pickens. Addison had a huge game last week. I don't think the odds are, in his favor to have another big game. 2 in a row would be something incredible, but I think this might be his 3rd game in a row.
Yeah, I mean
he's a big game, but
he's not able to fill in for us today. But I'm sure if Zim was here, he would say never trust Addison after a big game.
Exactly.
He's got buried by him before.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, I mean, they're fairly decent against the wide receiver. The Bengals are bad against the wide receiver, though.
What do you got for defensive starts, Mr. Tooch?
Well, I think you got to take the Texans in Trevor Lawrence's first game back. Texans are a solid defense. It's hard this week, because we had the Thanksgiving and Black Friday games already. So that was 4 games already out of the way, so it's hard to find some defenses, but I think you got to go Broncos versus the Browns,
Sure.
And then take the Colts versus the Patriots. I think Colts defense, is underrated.
Yeah, I agree. Colts have been surprisingly sufficient on defense.
Yeah.
For my defensive starts, Tooch, I'm taking both teams in the Snow Bowl tonight. Bills against the 49ers and the 49ers against the Bills.
Yep.
Both teams in a snow game. I can't imagine it's going to be very high scoring.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be fumbles. It's going to be cold. So I'm taking a flyer on either one of those teams.
Yeah. I love it.
And then, of course, I think the Buccaneers against the Panthers is a slam dunk today. I know their secondary is not great, but I think they're going to get enough of a pass rush to cause some havoc. So that's what I got. Let's see. Yeah. Blurpy wants to know.
Tough question.
Chubb or ETN, or look at waivers, full PPR, Texans, Colts, or Jets D.
There's nothing out there for running backs, though,
I mean, you could let us know who's on waivers, but I
Let's
can't
see,
imagine unless you got Gus Edwards on waivers for some reason.
The Broncos.
Let us know, Blurpy. If Gus Edwards is on waivers, I would start him over those guys for sure.
Broncos are about middle of the pack versus the run, and then the Texans are really good versus the run. So Chubb has the better matchup.
Yeah, and Chubb is less competition too.
Yep.
Although I could easily see this being a Jerome Ford passing game day because he's like the passing back lately. But, out of those two, I'm going Chubb. But if Gus Edwards happens to be available in this waiver wire, grab him.
Yep.
Because Gus the Bus, available, though. I can't see him being available either. But
yeah,
I tried in like 3 leagues. I only got him in 1.
Let's see. Texans, Colts, or Jets? I think I'll take the Jets. I'll take a flyer on the Jets.
Man, I don't know.
I could see that game being low scoring.
I don't like any.
They're both under teams. Texans I like too. But...
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not starting Vidal over Chubb, so I'll go Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb.
Let's see here. Let's get to our sleeper starts.
Yeah.
Mr. Tooch.
I got Adonai Mitchell. He's been good. He plays in the slot a lot. Now Josh Downs is out. I think he's a sneaky start. Could also break one long one. David Moore versus the Buccaneers. He's been actually he had like 10 targets last week. And in preseason, he was kind of their number one receiver. Leggett kind of took a back seat as soon as David Moore came off injured reserve. He's actually been really good, man. Had a huge game last week. Bryce Young seems to really like throwing to this guy. Now they've got injury. Now that the Panthers got injuries at tight end, so that's a lack of receiver at the tight end position. Then there's no more Deontay Johnson. So give me David Moore. You could do a lot worse. I've got him starting him in 1 league, and I think that'll be a high scoring game. Bucks Panthers, and then the Buccaneers secondary isn't the greatest. And then I'm starting Gus Edwards, man. I think he's good for a touchdown.
Love it. Today. Yeah, I do. I think so.
Anytime touchdown plus 110 today.
I'll go further than that. I think he's good for almost 100 yards rushing today. I think he's good for over 80.
That's going to be a big game. I think it's that next question is interesting though. Is Rachaad White still getting a lot of carries or touches?
I mean, he gets some, but it's Bucky's land lately.
I think you got to go versus Irving or Edwards, man. This is so tough.
I think you got to go with Bucky today.
Yeah.
Bucky
would probably get you some yards and catches too, Yeah, I think you got to go Bucky.
Yeah, I agree. Both good matchups, but I'll take Bucky.
Love both of them today.
All right, get into my sleeper starts. I call him a sleeper because he's been a dud. I like C.J. Stroud today against Jacksonville. Get back on track, air it out. Tank Dell. Why am I drawing a blank on the other guy's name? Nico Collins. Big studs today. Look for him to go crazy. Darnell Mooney against the Chargers. It's just to me sounds like a Darnell Mooney go deep and get open and have a long touchdown day. They gave up a couple of those a couple weeks ago when who the heck were they playing when they went into overtime?
Oh God,
I'm drawing a blank.
Let me see.
But it was
it the Commanders?
Maybe. Nonetheless, they gave up a lot of late game plays and they let them get back into it. I think Mooney has a good day. Wow, we got 6 comments.
They played the Ravens.
The Ravens.
30-23 on Monday night. They played before that they played the Bengals. And the
Bengals is what I'm thinking about. Yes, they let the Bengals back in that game, and then they lost it in overtime. And then, of course, I like Evan Ingram against Houston today. Houston not great against the tight end. Ingram's a target machine. Of course, his favorite quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, is back. like Evan Ingram a lot, and he's been dropped in surprisingly high amount of leagues, which is
Crazy.
baffling to me.
I tried to trade for him earlier, and then Trevor Lawrence got injured, and I lost interest.
For sure. Ravi saying Eberflus got fired. Yes, we are aware.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Gone.
Celebrate the good times.
Yep.
Home Alone music plays.
Great. The best news.
That is the best news. As we said at the top of the show, ding dong, the witch is dead. We got through our sleepers. Let's get to our sits. Mr. Tooch.
Got Geno Smith versus the Jets. He's traveling cross country versus a tough Jets pass defense. No, I like Geno. He's one of the top passing leaders, but I don't like this matchup for him. If you got another guy, maybe think about starting him. It depends. I mean, look, the Jets are in free fall too. Their season's over. You never know. Maybe they just give up. Travis Etienne versus the Texans. Texans run defense, very good run defense. Etienne splitting time with Tank. And I got Nick Chubb versus the Broncos, but I mean, I don't hate it. Broncos, I don't know. I see the Broncos getting out to a lead and Cleveland having to pass, and then Jerome Ford coming in.
Yeah, I could see that as well, for sure. Passing first game.
The Broncos defense is underrated, I think.
I agree. Very underrated. I have that one league. I have them and the Chiefs as my defenses, and I switch them based on matchup.
Yep.
Two best defenses in the league at this point.
I do that too. I've got the Vikings and the Texans in one league, and I
there you go.
Rotate them versus matchup.
That's the league I traded you, the Texans defense, I think.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Got it. Yep.
My sits. I know this is a highly controversial pick, but I think Burrow's going to have a hard time today. I think he's going to be forced to throw. I think they're going to be behind, which is certainly going to maybe stack up some yardage, but I think he's going to have some turnovers today. I think Joe Burrow's going to easily have a pick or two. I don't know. I just envision bad things today for Joe Burrow. I know it's hard to bench a stud like him unless you have someone else on your bench. So odds are you probably can't bench him anyway. But I'm lucky in one league. I also have Baker. I'm starting Baker over him. Amari Cooper against Buffalo. We talked about the snowy conditions in Buffalo tonight. Although I am seeing some news reports that are starting to come out now that the majority of the snow is supposed to be slightly south of where they're playing. But for me,
it's still going to be windy, though. No,
it's still going to be windy. So I'm knocking my rankings a little bit. If you're desperate and you need to start somebody, you can. But I'm avoiding anyone that catches a ball outside of the running backs. So that's why I have Amari Cooper and Debo on my sits here. So that's where those come from. Let's see, Tampa or Bills D. No game. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, I would imagine.
Yep.
Especially with 20-plus mile-an-hour winds, I'm taking the Bills.
Yep, me too.
Buka, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody that hung out with us.
Yeah, we got 281 people watching. That's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of people tuned in. We appreciate y'all. We'll give you guys another minute or two to get some last-minute questions in, and then we're going to hit the road.
And, fry up some of that leftover ham from yesterday. Honey, spiral ham.
Love me a spiral ham.
Ham and cheese omelet.
Oh, that sounds so good, man. I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. King Buka said, "Got to tune in from now on. First time in." Well, appreciate you, Buka. We're here every Sunday morning, usually after the Barfly Tailgate show, which is usually around 10:45 Central Time. But today we went a little bit early because Barfly Tailgate went early on Thanksgiving because the Bears played that horrendous game that we never want to talk about again. Except for Caleb's performance.
I wish in that game that Caleb had just said, "Fuck it, these guys aren't going to call a timeout. I'm calling a timeout." I need,
he should have.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's what you're supposed to have good coaching for too. So I see
exactly.
it both ways.
I'm not blaming him, but I wish that he had just said,
I wish he would have as well.
Fuck these coaches. I'm calling a timeout so we can, and then run a quick play and get up there and spike the ball with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like we're not going to get another question, but I did want to point out, I don't know if have you seen the Jahmyr Gibbs controversy, Tooch?
Is he fumbled and he got benched?
No, he posted on social media a photo of himself with all of the Lions lingo and play calls on a whiteboard behind him. And one of the members of the press told Dan Campbell about it during a press conference. He was not aware. And I think it's worth noting because I think there might be some ramifications in today's game. Oh, wait, they're not playing today. They're playing next week. But next week, there could be some ramifications there. So just keep an eye on that. It's bad.
Why would you do that?
If you look up the photo, you'll see it on Twitter.
I know all their plays and stuff.
It's got like all like their terminology and everything on a whiteboard behind them. It's
why?
brutal.
Why would you do that? It's so dumb.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that, folks, if you're a Jahmyr Gibbs owner.
Total fail moment. Yeah. Yeah, I was like saying, well, I should call a timeout. He should have taken it on his own and called the timeout. But maybe, after
let's be honest.
All the guys, like Jalen Johnson wanted to beat his ass. Like, do you see what Jaquan Brisker
Yeah, I saw.
Posted? Holy crap. I'm glad you're gone.
But let's be honest, though. If all he did was not call a timeout and they lost, and he didn't have the press conference where he backed up and stood up for what he said, he'd probably still be here, I think.
I wonder how many unused timeouts he accumulated over his Bears tenure. Leaving the game
too
with
many.
Timeout. It's like too many for sure, man.
And too many dumb challenges.
They don't roll over, the timeouts. Like you didn't call one in the Fail Mary game.
Yeah.
Only the Bears. We got the double doink. We got the Fail Mary.
We got the timeout fail, whatever you want to call it.
Timeout fail. Brutal.
But here we are. Let's see what we got here.
I
He
love
can take those timeouts with him. Yes, he can.
Take them with him. I'm glad we got the quarterback who were never out of a game in the second half.
Yeah, I mean he's scoring touchdowns throwing for touchdowns against teams that don't allow him.
He's turned into a good fantasy quarterback now too. He's throwing for 300 yards, a couple touchdowns. So I was thinking about picking him up, but I have some decent quarterbacks right now.
They have a tough schedule the rest of the way, so I'm not picking up Caleb Williams in any leagues, unfortunately. But I just hope for improvement. That's all we can ask for. But
all right, brother.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in. A very active chat room. Appreciate the new people that tuned in. It was a fun show. Tooch, great talking football with you always.
I got to run too.
I'm going to get out of here as well. I got some
honeydew list is huge today.
I hear you, man. I absolutely hear you. But again, always love talking football with you. Go win your matchups, everybody. Hit us up on Twitter at Joe Mandel, at John Santucci VIP, at Papa Bear 816, at FFB Goon. We'll answer all your questions. Give us a like, give us a follow. Make sure you subscribe to the Ballroom Network for all our great content and programs. And hit that like button. What we got?
We got a $49 super chat.
Holy smokes.
From
all right.
Well, thank you, buddy.
Well, thank you very much, my friend. We're not going to end the show just yet. We're going to answer this question very thoroughly.
For me, it's Nixon. I love Purdy, but I don't like his weather today. So I got to go Nix and Darnold. Love Nix. Definitely Nix.
Yeah, I'm taking Nix and Darnold. I think even if the weather was okay, I think I'd probably still take Nix and Darnold.
Purdy, this is like his first game back, too, right off.
He's
injury.
still banged up. I think Nix is going to have a huge day. I think Darnold's going to have a pretty good day. As long as he doesn't have, I think you're fine going Nix and Darnold. Pretty 24, 25 mile an hour winds. I can't imagine they're going to do too much of anything.
Yeah. Yep. Nix and Darnold.
Yeah, we very, very, very much appreciate it, Octavio, and thank you for tuning in. That's incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We remind you we do this every week, usually 10:45 a.m. Central Time. But again, no Barfly tailgate today, so Tooch and I took the early slot so we could get to our family and kids. Very much appreciate you, Octavio. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate that.
Yep. Walker or Tay, PPR?
Who's Tay?
Walker.
Tajay Spears? Are we talking about?
I don't know. Walker. Who's Walker?
Kenneth Walker, we talking about?
Kenneth Walker. Yeah, that was a good one. I'm trying to think, is there another Walker? I guess it would be Kenneth Walker.
I mean, Kenneth Walker's been great lately.
He's been great. I don't think you can. Devontae Adams. Okay, Devontae Adams. Wow. Okay, so this is a tough one. I mean,
yeah, this is very tough because the
Jets
Jets get Seattle. They're playing each other. The Jets are pretty good against the run.
Pretty good against the run. And then Devontae Adams. So the Seahawks are like middle of the pack versus the wide receiver. I think you got to go Devontae Adams. I love Kenneth Walker gets so many touches though.
The Jets,
maybe they run the ball more with Walker. I don't know, man. This is so tough. I'm gonna go Devontae Adams.
I mean, Garrett Wilson's been better lately out of the two, but it's close. I'll take Devontae. The Seahawks secondary is not great, so I'll take Devontae.
Tough. Yeah, so tough.
It's close. Octavio, glad to be supportive. We're very, very appreciative. A couple more questions, and then we are going to wrap. Baker Mayfield or Allen? That's a no-brainer. Baker Mayfield. Allen's playing in that terrible weather. I'm sure he's still going to run a lot with his legs, but I think Baker Mayfield against Carolina is way too good to pass up.
Yep. Leggett or Disley? I think Disley's safer. Leggett maybe. I mean, he hasn't done that great. I mean, I was like looking at Leggett, and I'm like, he really hasn't scored more than like 15 points this season. That was like one time, I think. So Disley, I think I go Disley. He's getting targeted.
Disley's good for 10 points no matter what. It's a safer play. Leggett could get you like 4, or he could, go off. But I don't see him going off today.
Risk safe. Disley's safer. Leggett is the risk, higher risk, higher ceiling.
Well, Thielen's been the guy since he's got back from IR. So
yeah, and David Moore.
Yeah, David Moore as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, Octavio, we'll put you up there. We thank you very much.
That's awesome.
You're awesome. We appreciate you. And reminder, everybody, we're here every Sunday, 10:45 a.m. Central Time on the Barroom Network after the Barfly Tailgate Show.
Yep.
Got the early spot this week because there's no tailgate, and we figured might as well. We both have families to tend to, so that's what we're doing. But we appreciate everybody. Tooch, I appreciate you. I'm thankful in a week of Thanksgiving for you, my friend. And, of course, Adam Sham, who couldn't be with us, and Steven Zimmerman, our other fantasy football friends. We appreciate them and wish them a happy Thanksgiving as well. And a huge thanks to the chat room for being so active
my
today.
Prop plays.
Oh, yes.
Where
quick, did you put that under?
Run banners.
Here it is.
Yep.
So go ahead, Tooch. Give us the rundown real quick.
Saquon Barkley, I think it's 19.5 now, though, but still like it. I mean, the Ravens have given up over 50 receiving yards to the running backs the past couple weeks, 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Vikings give up a ton of pass attempts. So I could see Murray putting up 32, even if he gets some incompletions or completions, over 31.5 pass attempts, like that prop play. Gus Edwards only 45.5 rush yards, like that one. I think he gets to 50, no problem. And then Drake May, look, the Colts play a lot of man. So a young rookie sees a bunch of backs, Colts defenders with their backs to him. He takes off. Can he get to 30 rush yards? I think so. Pretty athletic kid, Drake May, over 28.5 rush yards.
I love it, man. All great stuff. It's why you come here, along with the fantasy news. Tooch, appreciate you, my friend. Let you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Go win your matchups. Everyone else, you do the same. And as always, God bless America. God bless football. Let's kick some ass. Go win those matchups. We'll see you in the playoffs. We're here next week to talk more fantasy football at Fantasy Football Goon. See you guys later. Rock on.
Later, Joe.